Why, yes, I have an iPhone 8 Plus, and yes, it has a 1080p front-facing camera. I'm Bill Snodgrass. Welcome to this very informal iPhone 8 Plus camera review. I've come out in about the worst possible conditions to see what this front-facing camera can do. I've been using it for a few weeks and I've not always been 100% satisfied with the results. So it is about like high noon, and it's mostly clear. So we're going to put this to a test, compare it to the rear-facing camera, and well, just kind of play around with the video characteristics. So that's what you're in store for. So the first test is going to be basically just out in the middle of the sun, and you can see the lighting is pretty harsh. I guess I'm facing south now with the sun. So that's the this is the 1080p front camera. We're gonna switch over. I'm using an application called Filmic Pro, and it just gives you an awful lot of access to the controls on the phone: white balance, frame rate, ISO. You can change all of those things in the settings. Now I'm using, at this point, I'm on the back camera, which is the main camera, and I'm still at 1080p. One of the main differences, or one of the very significant differences, is that Filmic Pro has a lot more control over the back camera than the front-facing camera. Secondly, the back camera has image stabilization, and the front-facing camera, there's no option for that in Filmic Pro. So that's the full sun out in the sun test. So now I'm sitting in the shade, and I have the focus and the exposure settings, both of the little selection points right on my face. So you can see the front-facing camera's performance in the shade. I'm going to flip now to the rear-facing camera. And so now I'm on the wide-angle rear-facing camera, and not being able to actually see the screen. I assume that the focus points are on my face, but could be over there in the back somewhere. Really can't see what they're doing. So I'm going to use the front-facing camera and the rear-facing camera to take some B-roll of these picnic tables. So this is the rear-facing camera, and I have switched the audio to be using the front-facing microphone. So this is the rear-facing camera. I'm keeping the exposure and focus thing in the shade of the picnic tables. Okay, this is a little bit strange. This is the front-facing camera with the front-facing microphone. By the way, if anyone knows of like a windscreen mouse for the iPhone, that would be kind of cool to know. And you can see the lighting it's in the shade. The picnic tables are in the shade. I'm keeping the focus and pretty much the same place as it was before. I'm gonna do the same B-roll thing out in the. So this is still the front-facing camera, and here we go. B-roll into the. I have no idea why you would ever use your front-facing camera to do B-roll, but it's a good way of comparing the exposure and the focus. And now we have the back camera on wide angle, and I'm using the front-facing microphone. So it's a lot easier to handle the camera facing this way, and adding in the stabilization, I'm sure that's a much better picture. The 8 Plus also has a telephoto lens, and I'm using that telephoto lens. It also has the stabilization. So back on the front-facing camera, which Filmic Pro calls it the selfie camera. So back on that is the 1080p. I'm hand holding this. That was my thumb. So I'm hand holding this, and there's no image stabilization. So, but that's it. That's going to be the test. I think we can compare the footage. I'll put a little side-by-side up here and label it. We can compare the footage and kind of see how it behaves. The front-facing camera versus the the back camera. This was all 1080p, 24 frames per second, which is another feature of Filmic Pro, is allowing you to pick your frame rate precisely, 24 frames per second, and it'll pick all of the different settings. So even the B-roll was shot at 24 frames per second. I didn't try to do slow motion or anything like that. So there was your little bit of side-by-side footage comparison. So this is the iPhone 8 Plus, and using Filmic Pro, there was the side-by-side comparison of the different cameras and the way they operate in the different lighting conditions. The complaints that I have had with the front-facing camera have been in extremely bright setting situations or extremely low light. And low light is always a problem for any kind of camera, but I wanted to test out in the extreme bright light, and so that's what we did here. If this was helpful, please click the like button. Consider subscribing to the channel. We'll do more how-to kind of videos as time goes on. Also do the vlogs, inspirational, motivational videos, and that sort of thing. So thanks for watching. Hope this was helpful, and look forward to seeing you in the next video.